not doing it by myself. I definitely have Coach Day with me. I have Coach Wilson. I have a lot of good people, but it's definitely a great opportunity.
Can you just kind of give your impressions of each of the three guys, CJ, Jack, and Kyle, what you've seen so far?
I think that all the guys are different, but all the guys are complete grinders. I mean, we had an 11-week kind of off-season cycle, and they all came out and they grinded and they came to work every day and they just tried to put their best foot forward, and then they just tried to get better every single day, and that's kind of our mindset in the room as we kind of continue to move forward.
Corey, how do you set up? I know you talked about the spring, the rotating guys, let them all have a chance to build that body of work. How do you structure these first couple of weeks? Because Coach Day said that you guys would like to maybe have a decision by the middle of camp. So how do you manage that on a daily basis with these practices?
Every single rep's scripted. We know who's taking what plays at what opportunity. Guys are going to have their opportunities to make a play, but it's nothing that's new to Ohio State of competition. I was here with Joe Burrow, Dwayne Haskins, so it's not like it's something new. I mean, we've seen great quarterback battles between great quarterbacks at a place like Ohio State before.
How will you evaluate a job like that and pick a winner? That may sound like a stupid question, but what's going to set them apart? What are you looking for?
I think that, like a guy who's going to come out and, ultimately kind of control the room, but, that's something that Coach Day and I, that we'll do a good job, and Coach Wilson and Coach Hart and Coach Stud and Coach Alford will all kind of get together and we'll evaluate this thing together.
Corey, how challenging is it when you are, splitting reps between three guys, and now you could, potentially have a fourth guy in the competition too?
I think just the quarterback position in general is a position that, you want reps. As many reps, the better. So it's just, the one thing with that is a guy gets an opportunity, he needs to maximize the most of his opportunity. So that's kind of where we are. If you get an opportunity, you get your reps, you take full advantage of it.
Have you guys had to redo the script yet?
JP and Jay
For the reps? For the reps, have you redone them yet, or is it still for 3 quarterbacks? Will you redo it for 4?
I think, not only that, we got a lot of guys, not just 3, not just 4. Jagger, JP, there's a lot of people that are going to take a lot of reps. So we definitely had this thing planned out pretty well.
How far out in advance is that planned for you? Like, I'd imagine you have tomorrow planned. Do you have the rest of the week planned? Does it change after each practice?
I think you always evaluate at the end of practice, but yeah, we're ready for tomorrow. We can't wait. It's going to be a fun day. You go through the constant grind with Coach Mick, and we're excited to play some football tomorrow.
Corey, we know you're here to make these guys better quarterbacks and help them improve, but in any situation, but especially like this, how much of the job is managing egos and the emotional part of it, and making sure guys stay engaged in the midst of a ferocious competition? How much of your job is that, and how do you handle that part of it?
The quarterback position is obviously a very unique position to where there's only one guy who plays. But I think that just coming out, as I said earlier, as a guy gets an opportunity, he just needs to maximize the opportunity and just take what he can and just continue to run with it.
Coach Day has said, going back in the spring, that it's important for these guys not to be looking over their shoulders. That obviously kind of took on a new dimension here in the past week. I guess from that aspect, how are you helping them with that? And is that something you think is going to continue all season long, kind of in the special circumstances you're talking about?
Well, I think, Coach Day, he's done an unbelievable job setting the culture. And if you look over my shoulder, it says fight. Our culture at Ohio State is to fight to be the best version of yourself. So I think that's been preached throughout this place, and I think that we'll continue to do that. Every single person is going to come in, and they're just going to try to be the best version of themselves.
When they're competing every day, there's so much to evaluate. I'm sure that there's got to be some sense. One day there's a pecking order, or it seems like there might be one. You've got to sort of know how they stack up, right? Is there one in your mind, or how do you keep them from not looking at, well, maybe this guy's ahead or whatever?
I think it's just, the same way I answered that last question. You're truly worried about yourself, and you're just trying to get better. That's going to be a huge part of camp, is just development. That's why you come to Ohio State, is to develop and try to become the best version of yourself. And I think that, guys are focused on themselves and just kind of continuing to grow as a person and as a quarterback.
For you guys as a coaching staff, when you're looking at it, how do you keep from, this guy had a really good day, or snap judgment, and keep that slate so that you can at least wait as long as possible to make that decision? It seems to be what you guys want to do.
Yeah, and that's something that we'll all evaluate, and we'll all do it as a group between Coach Day, Coach Wilson, myself, and just continue to see guys and evaluate and just watch guys as they grow throughout this fall camp. I mean, those guys have busted their ass over the last 11 weeks through spring ball. They've done everything and more that they're asked of them. And so just watching those guys, and I know they're hungry to come out and compete and play football.
I asked Coach Day last week what's going to take to knock his socks off, you know what I mean, for that guy to make that big impression, to separate himself. And you kind of touched on what it's going to take. It's not just one thing, it's the cumulative effects. In other words, what they do over the next couple of weeks. I mean, what's it going to take, I guess, to get your attention that this is the guy?
Well, I mean, just like you said, it's not just one day, it's not one period, it's not one throw. It's just continuing to be consistent, and continuing to go out there and just grind and get better, and just take the daily approach of how can they develop and how can they come out and be, I know I said it, but the best version of themselves, and just continue to grow throughout this process.
CJ talked about always having a chip on his shoulder. He was a late bloomer and all that kind of stuff. How much do you sense that's an essential part of him?
I'm sorry, say that again?
How much do you sense that that's just an essential part of him? The chip on the shoulder mentality.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, he's a guy, he's extremely competitive, he's a grinder, he loves to work hard, but, you know, all these guys are. They all want to compete. That's why you come to Ohio State. That they know that nothing's going to be given to them and everything that Ohio State's earned. And I think that, you know, for ultra competitive guys, ultra talented guys, that this is the place that you want to be.
What ways does Kyle improve the most?
I'm sorry?
What ways does Kyle improve the most since you got here?
Well, I think that, you know, coming in as a younger kid and just kind of growing and learning, but Kyle's done an awesome job. What I appreciate about Kyle is everything that he's asked, he does, and he's a constant grinder. And, you know, like I said, all those guys, they've done an unbelievable job throughout these, you know, especially during spring, but then also this offseason, coming out, grinding, competing, and just trying to maximize what they can do and the opportunities that they have.
Corey, Justin and Dwayne, pretty much everybody who's worked with Coach today, who talked about it taking about a year to understand, get comfortable with the playbook, however they want to describe it. What is it that is so challenging about learning how to do this?
I think that, you know, what we ask of the quarterbacks is a lot. You know, we do. We put a lot on those guys' plate, and, you know, for them to come out and have the opportunities and grow and do those kind of things, I mean, it's really important. But I mean, ultimately, it's just, you know, guys as they come out, it's what they can handle, and what if they can handle more, you give them more. So that's kind of our mindset.
Is it the size of the playbook? Is it just the responsibility? The one thing you can put your finger on that makes it why it takes a year to get comfortable doing it.
I mean, playing quarterback's a hard position. I mean, we ask a lot of those guys. We ask them to know protections. We ask them to know routes. We ask them to know defensive structure. So it's really just on the kid as much as he wants to grasp. You know, he can go out, and the more that he can handle, the more that we give the quarterback.
What are some leadership tools that you guys use to help these guys develop? I know that no stone unturned, you try everything. What are some specific things that you run these guys through?
I just think just an opportunity to be around your guys, be around the locker room. I know Coach Mick does an unbelievable job with leadership, giving those guys just a sense of ownership. So if you give those guys a sense of ownership and just give them the opportunity, you know, so I think without an opportunity to lead, it's hard. So just giving them the opportunity to kind of go out and just be a leader themselves and day to day, whether it's a workout, whether it's you know, a throwing session, whatever that is, just giving those guys a chance to do it.
No books, videos, anything like that you guys try to?
You know, there's definitely some stuff that we like to talk about in our room that we kind of keep between us.
So Corey, so this is like the biggest story in college football, and I know you can't talk about the guy, but when the guy who's not here gets here, whenever that is, will it become kind of like a four-man thing, or does the guy who's not here, I mean, is he just going to be like, go in the weight room and learn the playbook and figure out where your dorm is? Like, we know the other three guys have put in a ton of work so far, but can a guy kind of show up and get in the mix, or would he just be on a completely different level from those guys that he's just going to be learning the ropes?
Doug, I think we got to hold off on that. I mean, everybody knows what you're talking about, and it'll turn into more than just this guy. I'm just really concerned about identifying somebody on that.
Maybe not speaking in specifics. Just not speaking in specifics about him as a person, just in general.
I mean, how essential is it that you have time in the system?
Well, yeah. I mean, quarterback is a position of reps. The more reps you get, the better that you'll feel. So, being around, taking reps, being around the guys, being around the team, that's obviously a vital piece of playing quarterback.
Or do you believe in a quarterback being a gamer more than a good practice player? How do you compartmentalize that?
What do you mean by gamer?
Being a guy that maybe doesn't show you much, but all of a sudden he gets in the game and he makes plays. I mean, he pulls them out of his back pocket, etc. How do you find that guy?
I think, at practice, it tends to be if you make plays in practice and you consistently do it during practice, you consistently do it in camp, then you have a pretty good chance of doing it on Saturdays.
Larry, how challenging was last year for you personally? For 3 years as a full-time position coach, I imagine running very different. So how did you kind of go about that first?
You know what? It absolutely was challenging, but it was challenging for everybody. And so, if you didn't adapt, you didn't figure it out. I mean, I got pretty good at Zoom, so that was always kind of fun. But, it was definitely unique, but it was also unique to everyone.
2 more questions, folks.
Do you have a style like running a quarterback meeting in the room now that you're able to do more in person?
I think your style is always constantly developing, just depending on who's in your room and how you're trying to reach a guy and what ways guys learn. Do they learn via film? Do they learn on the board? Do they learn in a walkthrough? So that's always kind of changing, and you try to adapt to the players that you have in your room.
How often do you? I know Urban is busy, but how much does he talk to you about what's going on with the quarterback situation, and how much do you lean on him?
Oh, I mean, Coach is my guy. He's obviously a huge role model. I talk to him every day. So I mean, he's a guy that I have in my pocket. If I need to call him, I call him, and he's definitely an important piece to me, and he's a good guy to lean on.
How much is he interested? How interested is he in this quarterback situation?
I mean, Coach loves the Bucks. He always wants to know what's going on, but he loves Ohio State, and it's something that we talk pretty regularly. But whether it's about Ohio State or anything else, so.
Corey, thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
You betcha. Thanks.